Well, a pleasant and blessed day, grade 7 students. I'm glad to share to you this opportunity to discuss and elicit academic writing and its feature. And on this video, we will be digging on how can we distinguish academic writing and features of academic writing. So let's begin. Before anything else, let us have first an icebreaker time. So we will be having a game entitled Count on Me. So from the term itself, Count on Me, you will be counting the letters on English alphabet. So how this game flow? So this is the direction. I will be providing blank spaces supported by corresponding numbers, and these numbers correspond to English alphabet, and you will guess the word it hides. However, the only challenge for this, you will start counting the letters backward. So letter Z will be the starting point, while letter A will be the last. And you can use any paper to help you on guessing the word it hides. So are you ready? Okay, let us now begin this game. So for the first given item, let us try to guess the word it hides. So it is already presented on the screen. So for the correct answer on the first item, it is the word complexity. So let us now proceed to the second one. Okay, this is the second um, hidden word. So the correct answer is grammar. So that is for number 2. So for number 3, try to guess the word it hides. Okay, the correct answer is research. And for the fourth one, the answer or the appropriate answer for that is formality. And lastly, try to guess the last word. Okay, the answer is academic writing. Well, I hope you've answered all those items on our game. And now let's formally begin our discussion for this video lesson. First one is to define and provide examples about academic writing, and the second one is identify various features of academic writing. So first, let's know about academic writing. So what do we mean by academic writing? When we talk about this thing, academic writing, basically this would give us the schema of paper tasks used academically. But when we dig on to this statement, academic writing needs to be more concise, needs to be more focused and clear with the things that we are dealing with our writings. And as what says on its definition here, it should be structured and organized in all manner and backed up by evidence. And its purpose is to aid readers' understanding and it not just end on that note. It basically tries to give us a beneficial connotation to to practice our grammar, to practice our technicalities when it turns on the academic or the field of academia. So another definition for academic writing is according to L. Lenny Irvin, and he defined academic writing that it is always demonstrate or always a form of evaluation that asks you to demonstrate knowledge and show proficiency with certain knowledge or certain disciplinary skills of thinking, interpreting, and presenting. And writing the paper is never just the writing part, because as the writer, you need to equip yourselves with skills that needed to the intended learning or intended information that you need to write. And to be successful in that kind of writing, you must be completely aware of what the professor or the discussant or to your instructor or that expects you to do and accomplish with that particular writing task. So that is the definition of academic writing according to Lenny Irvin. Now let's have some examples of academic writing. So first we have the annotated bibliography. So what do we mean by annotated bibliography? It is a type of bibliography that gives us a summary of each of the entries. And the purpose of annotation is to provide the reader with a summary and an evaluation of each source or things that you have get from a certain reference. So let's take a look with this example. As you can see, there is a citation, there is an annotation which give a backup to prove where that academic writing came from. So that's the first example of academic writing. Next one is literary criticism. From the term itself, literary criticism, meaning to say you are criticizing a certain literary piece. So literary criticism is the study, evaluation, and interpretation of literature. And modern literary criticism is often influenced by literary theory. That's why it is important to also include facts here in academic writing, and which is the philosophical discussion of literature's goals and methods. So that is the example. That is the second example for academic writing, which is literary criticism. So this is one of the best examples that we can adopt from that kind of example. Literarities of the By the Shores of Silver Lake. And also we can integrate here as an example is the research paper. Well, research paper is an essay which you explain what you have learned after exploring the topic in depth, or what have been conducted in a certain problem. And here on research, you include information from sources such as books, articles, interviews, and internet sites that supported your writings. And you also use your own ideas, knowledge, and opinions, but in a concise manner, and also the technicalities and grammar use are appropriate for that certain writing. And here is the example for that one. And this just try to give us the outline of a certain research paper, and that gives us the schema about the research paper. Well, there are features which distinguish academic writing from other forms of writing, and these features are in large part connected to the principal purpose of academic text, which is to analyze and produce knowledge. And on this page, the features of academic writing, we're going to introduce some of these key features which have been grouped together into 5 categories. So we have complexity, formality, conventions, concisions, and lastly, the clarity. So one by one, we will be discussing it on this part, features of academic writing. So first on the list is complexity. The vocabulary used to convey the greater complexity is more sophisticated, and a specialist vocabulary is required and also longer. More formal words are needed for this academic writing, and also academic texts are more complex both in terms of their subject matter and their language. The information, the concepts, and ideas conveyed are more involved and demanding than in everyday interactions. And after researching a topic here, critical thinking and planning are needed to achieve a specific purpose. So that's for complexity. You need to have the kind of critical thinking to put some formal terms or words that are needed for your writing. And next would be the formality. Formality is one also of the important features of academic writing, which tries to give us a more formal, and also the technicalities used are appropriate. As what have said here on its definition, a more formal style is usually expected when writing academic text, meaning to say in all academic writing it should be needed to apply this kind of formality to give your readers or also the expected outcome of your writing piece is formal. And the features that contribute to this greater level of formality, we have included here the formal choice of vocabulary. The choice of vocabulary which is precise, and nonetheless we should practice here the use of contracted forms, because the use of contraction in formality gives a different way of making it informal in your writing. And also the accurate use of vocabularies, also the correct use of grammar, that's a given one, and clear syntax synonymously with grammar, and lastly avoiding strong opinions, because most often the formality needed here is the factual information that will support your writings. So as what I've been saying a while back, one of the things to consider in the formal choice of vocabulary is to avoid using contraction. So here, the term "he is" was contracted into "his," so it is not applied here on the formality of your writing, but instead you will just normally putting it as "he is a good model" rather than "he's a good model." The third feature for academic writing is the conventions. Conventions are ways of doing something that are considered usual and correct. There are aspects of formality, example expressing the opinions, which are matter of convention, and there are other conventions of formal writing that concern from rather than its content. So here in convention, we are just trying to apply some of the rules that are traditionally accepted to be accurate and suit to use those technical structure of writing, and some of the conventions are already aforesaid on the formality. We have the grammar, we have the conciseness of the term of the statements rather, and also we are trying to build a stronger rule in its brevity. And here in convention, we are not putting some of the numerical structure or pattern in our writings. Let's take a look at this one. Instead of putting it as a number, use the word to make it formal, because as what we've said a while back, some of the conventions are already aforesaid on the formality, and this is one of the great example for that for convention. Let's now proceed to the number 4 feature of academic writing. We have the concision, or from the root term itself, concise, meaning to say we are making the terms few rather, and we are just putting the salient points on our writings. And the aim of concise writing is to use the fewest words possible without losing meaning or complexity. And however, as this statement makes clear, the impact of a text should also be kept in mind that concise writing does not always have the fewest words, but it always uses the strongest ones. So that's for the concision. And lastly, the clarity. Clarity, as we can see here, do not be tempted to use complex language or expressions that are not your own just to make your writing appear academic. Your reader needs to understand the information or ideas that are conveying. So the meaning itself already gives us a clear understanding of what should be written on our academic paper. And as we have seen, choosing vocabulary carefully, avoiding errors, and constructing clear, concise sentences go a long way towards achieving the clarity. And it's essential to effective writing. However, other elements in the writing process needs to be borne in mind to achieve this clarity. And according to RMIT University, in good academic writing, the ideas are unified. It should be unified and contributing to a clear overall picture. And this is true of both the whole text and each paragraph, which means clarity is a huge factor also to aid those vague interpretations that some of the readers or your own audiences might build. So that's for the clarity. And all in all, these feature writings or features of academic writing rather are very important in order for us to have a nice and good quality of an academic paper. And we will now be having your post assessment. So take a screenshot of these items. For the second one, so that's all for today, and thank you for your participation and listening for this video lesson. Thank you and God bless.